What's the matter, darling? What you tell me? What you want?
No.
I'm back at Big C again, yes?
Yes.
Why? How long before you come to Big C now?
Long time, I think so, because I have working a lot. Don't have time. Today must day or no too much customer, but I can stop really.
Well, you stopped 2 and a half hour early. Oh my God.
Because I have to buy something for home.
Have to buy something for home? Yeah.
And something for me too.
Something for you too?
Face cream, finish everything.
Okay.
Yes. And today I was stop internet for him.
No, not stop internet. This is what you have to deal with when you're living here in Thailand. The woman takes over and tells you everything you need to do. Which brings me to the title of this video. Is Thailand right for you? It's a conversation I've been having on an email with a younger bloke. He's in his late 20s, early 30s, and he wants to come to Thailand, and we've been having a bit of a discussion about that. And he's thrown out a lot of questions, and I thought I might just make a bit of a video on it. Anyway, so stay tuned, and we'll talk about, is Thailand right for you? And don't forget, guys, hit that thumbs up. So, as I said, this young gentleman was asking, well, he came about, he's got a girl over here he's been seeing, he's had a few trips out here, and it's now going through his head, is Thailand right for him, is it the place that he wants to go? And I thought, well, it is a challenging sort of type of video to make to start with, because there's so many little things that you can have to consider. The first one that I did suggest is, what's his ultimate goals in life? You know, is this just really getting to the whole idea? Is it a fad? Is it, like when you meet one of these girls over here and they just seem like they are just princesses? It's very, very hard, and the heartstrings are tugged, and you're going, well, seriously, what could go wrong? Again, this is Thailand. Everything can go wrong if you don't plan very well. So I did suggest to him, I said, what's your plans you've made for the next 10 years, right? So when you're 40, by the time you've turned 40, think of 50 things you'd like to achieve in your life, and then, if you're in your 40s, well, again, think of 50 things that you would like to achieve before the age of 50. Get the idea, make some goals. I think most people run through life these days without setting any sort of tangible goals in their life. And a goal is something that really has to be something you stretch for as well. It's not like, a goal is getting up in the morning and eating breakfast. That's not really a goal. But getting out, sort of make a goal attainable, but also requires you to stretch. Once you've got those goals set in your life, then you can sort of ask yourself the question, well, does this relationship that I'm looking like having, or in the middle of, or starting out in, is this fitting into my life goals? Because invariably, sort of, I had the same thing. I had my life goals set out in my, by the mid-20s, I know what I wanted to achieve, and then I met a girl. And pretty much all those life goals were derailed for quite some time. I always sort of tried to keep back on track, but again, it's not an easy thing to do. Bringing a partner or a duality into your life goal can be one of the most challenging things in your life. And unless, of course, you're prepared to make some sacrifices, it's probably not going to work. Oh, you're in case you're wondering, we are here in Hachiban, which is sort of a Japanese-style franchise, and we're eating. What do you call this one? Noodle with pork.
Yeah, pork and chicken.
Yeah, and fried rice and vegetables. Trying to get her to eat vegetables is like, oh my God, eat vegetables. Quick. Quick, eat the vegetable. Quick, quick.
Okay.
Yeah, eat the vegetable. She's a meat eater. She won't eat vegetables most of the time. Just got some chicken as well. Anyway, enough of a distraction with the food. We're going to get on and eat before it goes cold. That was absolutely yummy, as always. Yeah, so getting back to the discussion about is Thailand right for you? Yeah, well, next thing, goal setting is one thing you're going to need to look at, because there's going to be another avenue about the goal setting as well. Is you're going to make some plans on how you're going to support yourself over here. But we'll get to that shortly. One of the things that he did bring up was he's talked to his girl about bringing her back to his own country, and pretty much that was rejected pretty much out of hand. And again, I have to agree with him. Sort of, we talked about that, for quite a few years between me and Chanya. Okay, again, the gender issue did present itself as a little bit of a setback, because Australia at the time really was not gender friendly, especially given the fact that we've only just taken, like, I don't know how many years. Same-sex marriage has only been introduced in the last couple, but on a general basis, the average Australian is pretty much negative to the whole gender fluidity of Asia. Again, most people in Australia are just yobbos. What can you do? What can you say about that? But yeah, so apart from the fact that she would have had a bit of a challenge with the gender, again, I always put it back into the same light. It's like, she's in her element over here. It's in her life. It's in her blood. It's her family. Everything that makes Chanya is here in Thailand. And taking her out of Thailand is just like, I think the saying is, taking a fish out of water. And she'll live for a bit, but then of course fish need the water to live in. What can you say about that? Anyway, so that's sort of, she's already sort of said that no, she doesn't think that moving out of Thailand would be for her. So it does throw back on him of him coming to Thailand to live here. And again, he doesn't have the advantage of that lovely visa we call the retirement visa. So there's another challenge right there. Just trying to think of what mat to get for the bathroom floor.
Chai feel.
Yeah, it's all to do with colour and feel. But yeah, so if you are thinking of moving over here and you're not at retiring age, you've got to sit down and think about, obviously, how you're going to make some money. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of money and you've got good investments and things like that. There are a couple of visas you've got an option for, like there's the Smart Visa. I'm still not sure about the renewal process of that, but it lasts for 4 years, and it's designed for those people that a senior level who have money, who can invest in Thailand and things like that. Now, when we're talking to somebody, in their late 20s, early 30s, well, I don't know his financial situation, but generally most, people that age really haven't got themselves set up financially with a couple of $1 million in the bank account to actually consider a visa like that. So you're going to have to start to think about what you're going to be doing there to support yourself. As I said, if you're over 50, you've got the retirement visa, which again, $35,000 US or $30,000 US in a Thai bank account, and you just get to renew it every year. Whereas if you're under 50, you don't get option to that. So your visas are like, you've got education visas, you've got working visas, you've got employment with an international company style arrangements, and they're few and far between. Teaching is an option as well, but again, is that the sort of thing you want to do? Like, getting back to the whole thing, you're coming from a Western society where, okay, McDonald's burger might cost you $5, but ultimately, do you really have the sort of money to think about work or not work? Because I reckon sort of most people like in America, like, there's a big fight to try to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I think in Australia, the minimum wage now is $17 an hour. In Thailand, like, the minimum wage here is $17 a day. And if you're coming over here to work in Thai-style business, you're not going to be making anywhere near the sort of money that you are accustomed to when you're living overseas. All right, so this is going to be another big challenge as well. And of course, finding those jobs and keeping those jobs is another situation you need to keep, well abreast of as well. It is not an easy task. Tell me about it. Anyway, so, thinking about your, where the money comes from, how you support yourself, these are sort of some of the big challenges. And of course, if they don't fit into your goals, then are you making the right decision of choosing Thailand to come out to start with? Yeah, so Thailand's slowly getting into the Christmas spirit and what you can get. Not a big selection of trees, but plenty of stuff to decorate with. Yeah, so getting back to the whole idea, so if you have got finances and money's not an issue, then Thailand could be an option if you're a younger person. Otherwise, you might find a challenge trying to find the right visa to suit your circumstances. It's something that I wouldn't really want to be sort of toying with. But again, love is a very strange thing, and when the right girl comes along, you're going to have to sort of take those big steps and make those decisions that might be uncomfortable. Yeah, so if you've got to sort of set it out that your life goals, right, in line with what you want to do here in Thailand, and the girl that you're going to live with is in line with the ideals that you want to aspire to in your life, and you can work out how to support yourself. It's going to come down to the three basic things of why Thailand. Well, for me, I think there's three things that I always sort of think are the best things about Thailand. The inexpensive accommodation, whether you're buying or renting. The food, you can't really go past the food, right? And pretty much, Thailand is relatively inexpensive in a lot of areas for the basic requirements of life. You want me to put in the car now? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what was I trying to say? I was trying to say food, clothing and accommodation, which are the three things that are essential to living a life. But when it comes to the things that you're so accustomed to over in the West, cheap electronics, cheaper cars, cheaper motorcycles, anything that gets imported into Thailand is generally not cheaper. They are also considered to be rather essential items to have a reasonable, good lifestyle here. So, we tend to think Thailand's cheap, but when you start to put two and two together, it's not a bed of roses. There are some things that you're going to sort of completely scream about. I know, like I said, when we were looking last year at the Honda Civic, I think we could have walked out in Australia. We could have bought a Honda Civic for under $30,000. Over here, the same thing's worth, equivalent of $40,000. Basically you're paying 25% more than we did in Australia. Right, and these are the sort of things that you need to consider. And rightly enough, they aren't like daily essentials, but they're one-time purchases, or one time every 10 years, you might sort of say. What's she looking for now? She's supposed to be buying some makeup. Women and their clothes, I don't know. What else is there? The temperature. Okay, so 4 months of the year, it's quite a beautiful, what I would call summer weather, which we were accustomed to in Australia, without all the high temperatures that we get in Australia. Some places where you're living, you might already be used to winters sub-0 degrees. Are you ready for the fact that, unless of course you're living up north, or right up north, generally temperatures will never get below 20 degrees Celsius, which is 68 Fahrenheit or something like that. Don't try to quiz me on that thing. We haven't had Fahrenheit Celsius conversions for 30 years. It's just America seems to be on the backward side of that one. But aside from that, like the weather here is warm. For 8 months of the year, the weather is warm and humid. That's something that a lot of people have a lot of difficulty with. And don't forget, it's, if you're trying to, if you want to get out of those temperatures, you've got electricity costs. Okay, they might not be as high as you're paying now, but still, it's a utility that's always going to go up in price. And if you're going to sit at home, you're going to be putting on the air conditioner all the time. Half our electricity bill, which is about 3,500 baht a month, what's that? That's probably $120 US a month. Half that cost is running the air conditioners. The other half, of course, is running the sewing machines downstairs. But yeah, you get the idea. There are relative costs, and these are the things you're going to have to definitely look into to keep up with her. Of course, there's the other side is, is the girl going to work? When you've got your budgets all set out, nothing worse than having a budget set for your own personal expenses and then finding your girl's not going to contribute. Well, in our case, I've always made those plans and she always wanted to have her own business. Okay, it's taken a couple of years to put those plans together, but she's now happy that she's got her own business and it's getting bigger and better and she's crazy all the time. But you've got to ask the question, is the girl that you're going to be with going to be sort of splitting the check 50-50, being a participant in the duality of a relationship? And I suppose that brings me to the next point that I was going to make, the duality of the relationship. Don't forget here, it doesn't matter what sort of visa you're coming on, you are always going to be a guest in this country. You are never going to be Thai. Right now, there is a particular level of integration you can achieve. Not many people actually strive for that because, for one thing or another, the language and everything else, mainly. There is what they call a permanent residency sort of option. Only 100 people per continent or country can actually apply for that every year, and you go onto a waiting list. Not going to discuss the visas tonight. It's really not the point of the video, but it's more to the point is you're going to have to think about those sort of things, the duality of the relationship. You're only a guest where she's a Thai national. Yeah, so just an example, motorcycle laws. The current laws change all the time. The current law, all motorcycles in Thailand must drive in the very gutter lane of any road. You've got no rights to actually move out of the gutter whatsoever. Okay, nobody really obeys that law, right? But if you're a foreigner over here and someone doesn't like the cut of your jib, right, and they see you riding a motorcycle, right, that's a good enough reason to put you up in front of the constable and have to answer for your misdeeds, right? And if you continue to do it, it could be a reason to be kicked out of the country. You can understand the fact that you really don't have a leg to stand on. Which brings me my next point, which is something that I think we've brought up before, is the whole idea of this personal responsibility. Living in Thailand requires you to be totally responsible for every action. Right? If you're not, you're going to end yourself up in a whole heap of trouble. Right? You don't have the cushions. You don't have social security nets. You don't have health security nets. You don't have a bunch of things that you're used to here. You might not be using at the moment, but have you understood the fact that when you're over here, you're simply not going to get them, unless of course you insure yourself in those sort of, funny situations that you might encounter. Yeah, but this issue of personal responsibility does come up a lot here in Thailand. Especially if you're in the holiday areas and you're playing up a bit you could land yourself in some serious strife and really no way to get out of it. Okay, so in your own country, even just the habit of getting drunk, at least your mates are going to be there to support you if you've got some good mates. Over here, well, you're not going to find the same sort of latitude in your mates because your mates aren't here. You're going to have to think about making a few friends. Okay, so like the foreigners here are very few and far between. You might see all these videos of people here in Thailand living up like myself, well, living up, enjoying the good life that Thailand has to offer at least. But we are few and far between. I think less than half a dozen people in our local community, foreigners that I've met in 2 years. If you were living, say, in Pattaya or one of the holiday areas, it might be a bit of a different density. But I'm pretty sure that if you're thinking of living over here, those sort of areas really aren't the place to settle down and enjoy life. More than likely, you're going to be sort of living on a farm. Have you thought about those sort of situations too? Again, you found a lovely girl. She's from Isan. If she moves to Bangkok into the suburbia, what's she going to do for a job? What are you going to do for a job? There's so many questions that can be thrown at you that really can be quite challenging for anybody making the decision to live over here. Of course, I wouldn't change it for the world. I am over 50. I've made all these plans. Everything works for me. Everything, life is simple. I don't have the want or the need to run out and party every night. I'm very, very happy to sit at home and play computer games and eat the good food and just have a comfortable life. I've worked for 35 years and I worked hard for 35 years. And, well, really, that's why I chose Thailand to retire, because it suits me, it suits her, and we're a couple. I've made some sacrifices to be here, but ultimately I wouldn't change the world. I don't think everybody who chooses to come to Thailand actually thinks it through as much as what I have. I still get the odd comment on the channel, which obviously people have got no idea how to plan their life. They think that I'm being taken for a ride. Yeah, right. You can live in your little fantasy worlds, guys. I'm quite happy with what I'm doing. I know all the risks, I know all the benefits, right? More than likely, those assholes are still working, right? And just got the shits with me because of the fact that I'm not. Can't help that, I made some plans, they didn't. What can you say? Who's the better person? But yeah, so if it's going to be you on the other side, having the shoe on the other foot, you've got to start to sit down and really sort of do a lot of weighing up. As I said, clothes on your back, food, accommodation, they're going to fit into anybody's budget. Having all the little luxuries, it's going to be a bit of difference sort of in a kettle of fish. Finding the right girl to settle down with, making sure your goals are aligned. What do you want to achieve in your life? More than likely, she's going to want to raise a family. Unless, of course, you're going to be dating a ladyboy, which then the family's another thing you need to think about seriously. And what are you going to do there? Because the fact that, there is, as I said, no social security net. Right? And if there's no social security net, the family is your social security net. Right? So people sort of say, why do you spend money on your girl? Well, you spend your money on your girl if you're living in the West anyway. You just tend to spend a lot less. And I think the last point I wanted to make on this video is language. You are going to be in a country where you are not the master of the language, which is also going to throw a whole bunch of curveballs at you left, right and centre. Yes, you could take a visa, which is an education visa, and learn the language over a couple of years. But ultimately, most people come to Thailand, realise that Thais tend to have a reasonable grasp of the English language no matter where you're going. But ultimately, I have no idea what they're saying because I don't know much of the language. But ultimately, language is going to be a challenging issue for most people coming in. Thais will tend to talk about you and not to you. You know, it'd be nice to know what they're saying from time to time and to join in a conversation. If that's sort of something that's going to worry you, then Thailand's really not going to suit your lifestyle. If you think the world revolves around you at the moment, well, guess what? The only thing that's going to revolve around you here in Thailand is your wallet. Because that's the sort of person that will be attracted to you because of the elevated status you seem to come from. If you want to talk about this sort of stuff, definitely sort of, leave some comments down below, ask questions, throw us an email if you've got some questions. I'm very open to feeding back and helping people get a foothold here in the country. And this is what people come to me for, because they like my no-nonsense style and approach. What you want? Oh, you want a bulb? Yeah, one of the bulbs.
Not same brand before.
Yeah, Eve. You had the Eve before.
Before what?
Yeah, Eve.
No, not good. Broken. Everything broken. Not good, Eve. Before shoot like this.
Yeah, we'll get Panasonic then.
Yeah, I think to change.
You want 12 watt?
This one, expensive but not good.
Yes, so if you do want to discuss it any further, hit me up on the email, hit me up on the website, hit me up on the Patreon, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up here in the comment section. I love talking to people, I love sort of giving some advice and helping people out. That's really what I'm here for, giving you guys a foothold before you start. What's this, darling? You want for the shop?
Bye-bye.
You want to stay in the shop and you want to sleep in the shop? Yeah, good idea. You can stay in the shop, you don't have to come home, you can stay in the shop.
Yeah, I think so.
Cheap at half the price, only 299 baht. How's that for cheap accommodation? Anyway, we're going to wrap this up now. So it's goodbye from me, and say goodbye.
สวัสดีค่ะ ไว้เจอกันใหม่
ไว้เจอ
ไว้เจอ กันใหม่
กันไม้ไว้เจอกันไม้ I'll try to learn that one for you. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.